Hello, welcome back to another video. This is Social Science Simplified, and in today's video I will be doing an election prediction for the 2024 presidential election, and I will be redoing my election prediction from June, the Ron DeSantis versus Joe Biden election prediction. Since June, Joe Biden's approval ratings have sunk from the 50s into the high 40s. And a lot has changed politically. COVID cases have risen, and the Afghanistan withdrawal happened, and now Russia is putting troops on the border with Ukraine. So a lot has changed politically, both nationally and internationally. So I figured if the election were to take place today, which is February 3rd, 2022, who would win? So what would happen? What would be the outcome of an election where Ron DeSantis faces off against Joe Biden? And that is what I will be answering in today's video. If the situation remains the same until the 2024 presidential election and Joe Biden is the major candidate for the Democratic Party and Ron DeSantis is the major candidate for the Republican Party, who will win? And how close will the race be? How close will each individual race in each state be? Those are all the questions I'll be answering. So as always, I'm going to start off with the safe states, and I'm going to start off with the safe states for the Republican Party today. So all the obvious ones: Idaho, Wyoming, North and South Dakota. I did those out of order, but that's fine. Nebraska at large, Nebraska's 3rd district, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia. And now some other states that would normally be likely states for the Republican Party are going to be safe, just because Ron DeSantis will be running on a platform that he is claiming he is better than Joe Biden, as well as he is a Trump-like candidate. However, he is somewhat more moderate than Donald Trump, meaning he can appeal to moderate suburban voters a little bit better than Donald Trump did in 2020. So states like Montana are going to be safe. Kansas, a state that Trump won by around 14.5 points, Ron DeSantis will carry Kansas by over 15 points, very easily. States like Missouri and Nebraska's 1st congressional district and Utah are all going to be safe states for the Republican Party. And now on to safe states for the Democratic Party. The obvious states: California, Illinois, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, the 1st congressional district electoral vote in Maine, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and Hawaii are going to be the safe states for the Democratic Party. Now on to the likely states for the Republican Party. And I did miss a safe state, I apologize. Indiana would go to Ron DeSantis by over 15 points. And if you are curious about what my margins of victory are in relation to safe, likely, lean, and tilt, please check the description. The margins are in there. So now moving on to likely states for the Republican Party. So anywhere in between 5 and 15 points. Iowa, Ohio, Texas, Alaska. Alaska is a state that's Republican, but probably only going to go to DeSantis by around 12 to 14 points. Also Florida, a state that Trump won by around 3 points, Ron DeSantis being the incumbent governor of Florida in 2022. If he gets reelected in 2022, he will be the incumbent governor in 2024. Ron DeSantis will carry Florida by over 5 points. A state like South Carolina, likely margin of victory for Ron DeSantis. And other than that, Maine's 2nd congressional district will be a likely margin of victory for Ron DeSantis. And those are all the likely Republican states. Texas, Donald Trump won by about 5 points. Ron DeSantis will probably win by around 8 to 10 points. He will likely maintain the margins of around 8 to 10 points that Trump had in Iowa and Ohio, and he will expand on those margins in Florida and Alaska, and he will probably keep around the same margin of 10 points in Maine's 2nd congressional district. And now moving on to the likely states for the Democratic Party. So these are going to be very similar to the ones in 2020. Colorado, obviously, that race is going to get a little more competitive, a little bit closer. Joe Biden won by around 13 points in 2020. He'll probably win by around 8 in 2024 if he were to face off against Ron DeSantis. Then New Mexico, probably going to win New Mexico by around 8 to 10 points. Same with Virginia. maybe that will be closer to 5, but still within the likely margin of victory. Then some Democratic states that were safe in 2020 will go down to a likely margin of victory. And this does not mean they'll necessarily be competitive. It just means that they're going to be closer than they would have been in 2020. And those states are Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Washington, and Oregon. Once again, out of order, Washington and then Oregon. But those states will probably go to Biden by around 12 to 14 points. Oregon went to Hillary Clinton by around 10 points in 2016, went to Joe Biden by 16 points in 2020. The margin of victory for Joe Biden there in 2024 will probably be around 12 points. And now moving on to the states that will lean Republican in 2024. And those states are North Carolina. Ron DeSantis probably going to win by around 3 to 4 points there. Another state that will lean Republican in 2024 is going to be Arizona. Ron DeSantis will flip Arizona back to the GOP column, obviously winning a bit more of the suburban moderate vote there, and he will probably win by around 2.5 to 3 points. Same with Georgia. A lean margin of victory for the Republican Party there. And now onto the lean margins of victory for the Democratic Party, and there are 2 states in this category, and those are New Hampshire, actually 3 states, I apologize. New Hampshire, around 2 to 5 points for Joe Biden. Same with Maine's at-large electoral votes, and Minnesota's electoral votes. So 16 electoral votes in the lean Democratic column, and now onto the tilt states, which will decide the outcome of the election. So these are within 2 points. So these states that vote for either candidate within 2 points are going to be the states that decide the outcome of the election. And to start off with the tilt Republican states, Ron DeSantis is currently sitting at 262 electoral votes. He needs 8 more to win. In the tilt Republican states, Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, obviously very similar to Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina, in that Ron DeSantis is going to win there because of his appeal to moderate suburban voters. In North Carolina's case, he would expand the margin that Donald Trump had in 2020. In Arizona and Georgia and Nebraska's 2nd congressional district's case, he would flip those electoral votes because of his more moderate brand of Trumpism than Donald Trump himself. And now moving on to the other tilt Republican states. Wisconsin. Ron DeSantis will carry the state of Wisconsin. He will flip the state of Wisconsin from 2020, and he will carry it by a margin of probably close to 2 points, but not above 2 points. And the last tilt Republican state will be Pennsylvania. Obviously, the Democrats will pull a ton of votes out of Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, large urban areas, but they will not be able to overcome the amount of votes Ron DeSantis will get out of the rural areas of Pennsylvania. And Ron DeSantis will win there probably by around 1 point in 2024. And now finally, moving on to the tilt states for the Democratic Party. Michigan. Joe Biden will keep Michigan in the Democratic column, albeit by under 2 points. Same with Nevada. Obviously, those states are going to get much closer than they were in 2020. And all in all, Ron DeSantis will defeat Joe Biden in 2024 by a margin of 292 electoral votes to 246 electoral votes. Very competitive presidential race. Obviously, if this were to actually occur, this could go either way, but this is just my prediction as of February 3rd, 2022, of what would happen in 2024 if these 2 candidates were to run against each other. Thank you for watching. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Have a great day. Thank you.